There's a sense of inevitability to this result. Peter, just need to go back to social media for one more second. I've got confirmation that the reason as to why Pratik was able to send us that photo is that up at the base camps, thanks to WorldLink, there's high-speed Wi-Fi at Annapurna base camp. So he's watching it in full HD and loving every second, and he can't believe his photo was just on the global feed. So big thanks and a shout out to him. Don't go sending us in more photos, anyone else. We're not going to bring them all up. That was a one-off. But great to hear from you all watching in your hundreds of thousands, your millions around the world.
What a time to be alive, Lenny. 2024, ain't it grand? Here in Grand Prairie.
Too right. It's 10 to win off 16. And I think for Nepal to really put their stamp and their icing on the cake of what is going to be a glorious 3-0 series victory, they'd love one of these two to hit the winning runs and both of them to still be there.
Well, just 9 more needed. USA have a lot to think about. Ahmed Patel mentioned earlier when you asked him about the ODI squad. Well, the selectors may be waiting to see what happens in those USA A matches. If anybody wants to push their case in those 2 games coming up on Tuesday and Wednesday against Scotland and Nepal. And based on what we've seen here in these T20Is, as they run a 13th to microcosm of this series, the running between the wickets for Nepal has just been head and shoulders above USA. And what looked like a once settled lineup for USA coming out of the Namibia tour maybe now has a little bit of pressure potentially being applied to it if anybody in that USA A series on Tuesday and Wednesday produces some quality performances. It may give the USA selectors food for thought as to what they want to do when they finally announce the squad that'll take on Scotland in the first ODI on Friday.
150s come up in the 18th over. It really is just a question of when now rather than if Nepal will complete this 3-0 clean sweep, and they have loved every single second of it. We are here for the clean sweeps is that sign, and they've turned out in great numbers again. USA have been a little under par, I think it's fair to say, but Nepal have been exceptionally good, haven't they, Peter?
As I said, head and shoulders above USA. On and off the field, I can see Phil Melke. He's moved all the way now to section 104. He's right in front of us, Lenny. He's standing at the back of the grandstand. He's got his hands in his pockets. He's certainly not clapping because there hasn't been much to clap about for USA tonight or in the previous 2 matches. Meanwhile, the contrast is the Nepal fans. They're on their feet. They want to give this team a rousing send-off. Most of them no longer in their seats. They're on their feet cheering every single run. They want to keep on cheering until this pair gets them across the finish line.
Well, Nepal are now within a blow. It's just 4 to win. They have roundly outplayed USA really in every facet, particularly in their fielding. 2 remain. It's 153 for 2.
Ready? 1, 2, 5, go!
Bye-bye.
Introducing new Honda Dio 125.
सही खोजौं, शुद्ध रोजौं, मुटु चाहिन्छ मुटु।
Has maybe more talent, especially if you see what USA did at the T20 World Cup, beating Pakistan, running South Africa very tight. Now, Nepal ran South Africa very tight, but in a completely different way in the World Cup. But USA was mighty impressive, and yet part of the reason why Nepal couldn't get that first ever victory over Test Nation in the World Cup was their batting was so brittle, and that's what's been so impressive about this series. Their batting has been really, really stern in the face of this USA bowling. And they've been sturdy, they've been robust. Whether it's the running between the wickets, as they've now brought up a 14th run two in that last over, 13th and 14th run two to end that last over. And again, USA just 9. It's those little things, those subtle things that have made such a big difference in the series and have made a tremendous impact. USA can't cut off the twos in the field. Nepal is running them at will between the wickets. And then when USA is at the crease, they've struggled to turn ones into twos, as Nepal in the field has been relentless attacking the ball.
3 required to win. Don't rule out Kushal Malla finishing it in grand style here. It's dragged down, it's hammered away, but it will be 1 bounce to the fielder. And maybe it's fitting, given Kushal Bertel's performances over the last 48 hours, that it will be he who can hit the winning runs.
And on the flip side, if you're USA, Nash Kenjige is somebody who typically it's impossible to wipe the smile off his face. He's the happiest guy in the field, wherever he is for USA. Just look at the look on his face. That also sums up where USA is at in this series. He's got a very serious look.
Full toss, but it's straight to the man. So it's going to be Malla. Knowing Kushal Malla, Peter, he's not going to be tapping a single here.
Well, and USA, I think, knows that, Lenny, because even though scores are level, they've still got 5 guys on the boundary. They're not looking to stop the one, they're looking for the boundary catch. Play to Kushal Malla's ego. Now Kenjige's saying, oh, we want to bring Yasser Muhammad in, but they still got long off, long on, deep mid-wicket, and a deep backward square leg in place. When's the last time you saw scores level and 4 men on the boundary, Lenny?
Here we go, scores are tied. And Malla will just punch it for a single. There's no need to do any more than that. And listen to the roar of the crowd. It's a historic, a famous, a landmark Himalayan clean sweep in Texas. It's the first time that Nepal have ever taken a whitewash in any T20I series. They've done it over a side that went to the Super 8 of the T20 World Cup here on home soil. They came in as underdogs, but they will leave as comfortable victors. There will be joy across Nepal this morning, on a Monday morning, back at home. But tonight, under the floodlights on a Sunday night in Texas, Nepal have made history. Nepal 3, USA 0.
And the smiles on the faces of these fans say it all. They've got the phones out. They want to capture this moment for posterity's sake. There's been so much for them to smile about. USA, on the other hand, hardly any smiles as they walk off the field. And they've got a lot to think about over the next 4 days before the first ODI on Friday against Scotland. They just haven't been up to the mark as Monak Patel leads the handshake line for USA. They look to get off the field in a hurry. On the flip side, Nepal, they're preparing themselves for another victory lap, Lenny, as the fans are hanging around. They're expecting it. They want to provide that adulation for the Nepal players, and the Nepal players are only too keen to soak it up and burn this image into their memories.
Great work from the DJ, because Nepali Ho is ringing around the Grand Prairie Stadium for the 3rd time, that famous song.